And this series is about what he did. Without the why, but what he did and what he said. Hello everybody, this is Paul Neeson with Torah Life Ministries, and we are continuing with this series, the Yeshua Said series. And it's exactly what it says. Yeshua said. We're looking at the words of Yeshua Messiah, and that's all. We're not looking at what anyone else had to say, any commentary or nothing else. What did Messiah say about anything? And that's what this series is about. We've already done 22 chapters or episodes of this series, and it's the 23rd episode. And today we're going to be looking at Matthew 8, verses 1 to 4. And we'll get right into it. It says, in chapter 8:1, it says, "And he, having come down from the mountain, great crowds followed him." So great crowds were following Yeshua Messiah. Now he had just finished giving a sermon on the mount to all the people that believed in him and everyone else that was there. When it says great crowds followed him, there's a significance to that with several things. First of all, if anyone says they didn't hear of him, well, he was preaching in a place that was, big, but not so big, where if something was going on, you wouldn't know about it. And great crowds, I mean, these were thousands of people that were following and listening to him. Now, were all of them people that believed in who he claimed to be? No, a good amount of them were, but there were other people that were just curious and wanted to find out what he was saying and see exactly what he was doing for themselves. But we know that there were great crowds that heard his message. That's what we know for sure. And his message was basically, if you love me, keep the guidelines and commands that have been given to you. And that was the message, really, how to live, what to do. And yes, when it says that we have a new covenant, basically the guidelines and instructions didn't change. As a matter of fact, Yeshua came to say it was even more significant. He took it off stone and put it on our heart, meaning not now that we need to see it on some stone or some paper. Now it should be part of us. It should be part of our living being, these instructions and guidelines. And Yeshua was teaching about the heart, and he was teaching about attitude. Now, I want to give you and tell you what Yeshua was saying. That's why this series is called the Yeshua Said series. I know a lot of people, they look at a lot of verses and they say a lot of things about Scripture. You can look at the prophets, you can look at what Paul had to say and everything else. But the bottom line is, the final word should be, what did Yeshua Messiah have to say and do? And we see this here, chapter 8, verse 2. "And behold, coming up, a leper worshipped him, saying, Master, if you will, you are able to cleanse me." So we see this person here, this leper, and to understand how significant this is, you have to understand that this was the lowest of the lowest people. Somebody that had leprosy was kicked out of the community, and it was just something nobody associated with lepers. And here this leper comes, knowing and proclaiming Yeshua is who he says he is, worshiping him, and saying, calling him master and saying, "If you will." So if you're willing, knowing he can, but he's saying, if you're willing, you are able to cleanse me. So he's giving Yeshua all the answer of who Yeshua is. He's telling Yeshua, I believe in everything you are, and if you're willing, I know you can cleanse and heal me. And then the significant thing, what Yeshua does. Now remember, at the time it was taught, you didn't want anything to do with a leper. You didn't want anything to do with them at all. But here Yeshua says, he didn't say, get away from me, or you're unclean, or anything like that. But what did he do? He said, and stretching out his hand, Yeshua touched him. So he didn't only talk to him, he actually touched him, which another thing unheard of. So you had all these people witnessing this, but it says great crowds followed him, and of the crowd came up this leper. So there were great crowds around. He didn't do this in secret, so there were great crowds seeing what was going on, and that's a significant thing as well that is often overlooked. So Yeshua stretched out his hand, and Yeshua touched him, saying, I will, or I am willing. And then it goes on, be cleansed, and instantly the leprosy was cleansed. So now Yeshua, after he did this act, he said to him, why do you look to telling man, but rather go and show yourself to the priest? Now, a lot of times when Yeshua did his healing, he would say, don't tell anyone else, but go and tell the priest, and go and tell them that do not believe in me, or go and to show them, and now there could be many reasons why this was done, but it goes on to say, Yeshua says, go and tell the priest officer the gift which Moses commanded for a testimonial to them. So Yeshua, he knew the original covenant, and the original covenant says for a person to be healed from leprosy, they couldn't just proclaim that they're healed from leprosy or they're clean. They had to be examined by the priest. Now, why did Yeshua go and send him to the priest and not say, don't tell anyone else? A lot of people might say something about that or guess something about that. I don't know the real reason behind it. Some of the reasons might be true. Maybe he didn't want the rumors to spread. He wanted them to see for themselves what took place or what transpired, because maybe they weren't there. Regardless, he knew the original covenant, and he knew he had to go to them to be cleansed. But here he is touching an unclean person with the goal to heal them for the testimonial of the kingdom, of everything he's doing here. So it just shows you that Yeshua was about the heart. He wasn't just about anything. He wanted people to have a certain attitude, and he also wanted them to follow the guidelines and instructions of the Father, and he wanted their heart to have a yearning for these guidelines and instructions and the desire to do them and see them. This is why he spent so much time on the mountain speaking to all these people, and this is why they were following, because they knew it. They were attracted to action, not to words, and his words were put into action. And this Yeshua Said series, here we are in the 23rd episode, and we're going to continue looking at what Yeshua said and no one else, because we need to know how we are to live as believers. And a lot of people might say nice stuff, but we want to know what Yeshua is saying. And not only is it nice, but it's true. It's the truth. And if you have an issue with what I'm saying, look, I'm reading to you what Yeshua said and what he did. So he cleansed this person. He touched the unclean person and made that person clean again. And somebody might say, well, if you touch an unclean person, aren't you now unclean? Well, maybe if that person you touched didn't become clean, maybe, but he became clean. So now you got these people here and him going to Yeshua to show him stuff. Now, I could say a lot about the idea of this and a lot of things, but I just want to go through what Yeshua says. And if you want to see any of the other previous episodes, you could just go back and check them out. But folks, Yeshua said, that's it. All right? Put your comments and questions below the video here, but it's not about commentary. I'm not looking to give or get commentary about why he did something in this series. And this series is about what he did, without the why, but what he did and what he said. And we need to focus on this and think about this, because he set the example for us, not to run away from unclean people, to heal unclean people that are willing. If they're willing, you should be willing. That's it. And that's what he did, and his actions did speak loud. So I'm really excited about this series. I think it'll help a lot of you out there. Certainly helping me. And thanks for checking it out. Until then, have a great day, and shalom, shalom.
Come out of the world, oh my people, seek the truth, avoid the evil, learn Yahweh's ways. Torah Life Ministries, come out of the world,